Hey, good morning, everybody. So I thought I would maybe try something a little bit different as as I was making videos. Normally, I will either do a live stream or I will record things and then release a release a video that way. And I realized I have the ability to live stream as I am making the recorded segments and then later on release the recorded video. So that's what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to do a live stream and later on a nicer, more polished video will show up containing what I'm talking about. So the first thing I've got up here is I've got the GDAX website. This is where I trade cryptocurrency. And I want to take a look at it. I just got up this morning. I've got my coffee. So let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's currently at 2474. I last traded Bitcoin 27 days ago when I bought at 2675. So I've got 1.396 Bitcoin. I've lost a little bit of value. If we take our chart and we look out further back to June, all right, looking every 6 hours, we can see, or we look at it at 1 day. This is a candlestick chart. There's also a line chart, but if we look at this chart, there's a couple components here. The first thing is these lighter gray bars at the bottom. These indicate volume. So we could say, okay, there was a lot of volume here. There's a lot of volume here, and there's not as much volume lately. If we look at these lighter lines, this orange line and this kind of grayish looking line, those are moving averages. And we could see that the moving averages were hitting up June 8, 9, 10, 11 through June 12th. The averages were hitting up. The average sells and buys. If we look at this as a 1 day chart, we're increasing, and then there on looks like June 12th, we saw it fall below 2,800 and continue to fall for a couple days to June 15th, and then from there it's kind of moved sideways. The moving averages, the lines have started to come back down together, almost touching here. And so when I look at this chart, it's like, okay, it seems like Bitcoin got up to $3,000, and maybe a lot of people said, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my money. I'm going to take my money and take some profits. And maybe folks did that. Then they said, well, you know what? We're going to see what happens. Let's see what happens. And here, people said, you know what? At 2432, maybe Bitcoin's getting cheap. Maybe I should buy some Bitcoin. And it looks like if I had to and again, I'm not a professional, so I'm sure people in the comments will agree and or disagree and or add on to this. But it looks like after that, we set up a new range, the bottom of which looks to be about 2426, and the top of which I'm going to say is about 26 between $2,600 and $2,700, and so my last purchase is kind of in the top of that range, and until something happens, probably Bitcoin is going to stay in that range. Right. If we look, this is at 1 minute interval, so this is overnight. Let me see. Yeah, it came down a little bit. And so I don't expect to be making any Bitcoin trades for a while, until it gets back up to the top of the range. I had for a while a sell in. I had to a sell at like $3,000 on my Bitcoin, and I think I'll go ahead and put a limit sell. Double click up here, puts that into this box for me, 1.396. And excuse me. And instead of putting it right on 3,000, I'll put it at 2,999.75. Because a lot of times people put big trades right on the top there, and mine might not execute if it just goes up briefly and comes back down. Are there any advanced orders policies that I want to use? Good till canceled, good till time, immediate or cancel, fill or kill. I'm just going to leave it at good till canceled. All right. So now I've got that order in here, and unless something changes, that's where I'm going to leave it. Now, folks may say, well, wait, aren't you concerned about it dropping down even further? Not really. I'm not too terribly concerned about that, so I'm not going to put a stop loss in. So that's Bitcoin. Let's look at Ether. I currently have 0.75 Ether that I bought 26 days ago at $360.66. The current price on Ether is $223.995. And if we take our chart and we zoom our chart way out, we could see that Ether was trending up. And it also peaked around June 12th, the same day with Bitcoin. It didn't go down nearly as far. And it's kind of remained, it's kind of slowly been on the decline since then. It reached a peak of about $400, and it kind of has leveled off, and it's stayed between 300 and its current level of 224. I currently have that very optimistic sell price of, well, that's not the one I wanted. No. I currently have a very optimistic sell price of 395, which represents when it got back up here at the peak price. I know a lot of attention has been focused on Ether, and that's An interesting thing that I learned about Ether compared to Bitcoin is there is a limit to how much Bitcoin will ever be in existence. There is no limit to Ether. So, sort of like the American dollar, it can continue to be created. So you're not going to have a scarcity or a limiting factor. When you look at Ether compared to Bitcoin. And our last cryptocurrency we're going to look at here is Litecoin. I only made one trade with Litecoin, and that was 27, 28 days ago. It was down around 29. Then I bought at 29.5 and sold at 29.85. I bought 9 Litecoins in, and now it's at 47, 48.5. And if we look at the chart there, we can see, if we go out to a day chart, we can see it's kind of been on a steady increase here, and has gone up as high as 55, and now it's back down to about 50. The other kinds of chart besides a candle chart is a line chart. And there we've got our volumes represented across the bottom. And then this is just simply a line that shows the price. This is a 30-minute chart. We can go out to 30 days. So depending upon how far you want to look, so the chart options are different based upon the kind of chart that you're using. Again, my preference is a candle chart, but using both kinds can be beneficial. The moving averages that we see on the candle chart, some people interpret those as giving you an indication of where, when you see the averages about to cross, or when they cross, it indicates you've got momentum in that direction, and when they cross again, it indicates the trend is reversed. So it's a trend reversal is indicated when your moving average lines cross. So, and again, these things about these charts are not specific to, they aren't specific to GDAX and cryptocurrency. They also apply to other types of investments, like you would have with other with stock charts, essentially. I did want to talk about a couple other things. Again, this is part of the using the live stream and recording while I talk, and then I'll edit things like this out, and that'll be my material that I'll create a more polished, more edited video about that subject. And so a couple things that I've been working on, I got the screenshots for, and I'll go ahead and talk about those here. This first one is, I got a letter a little while ago, and that letter was an email from Coinbase. Coinbase is where they're the company behind the GDAX exchange, and they are where you would set up your account. For trading. And it said, "Dear my name, we strongly recommend you update your second factor verification to Google Authenticator." So my second factor used to be, I would get a page, a text message, a SMS, and that would be a second factor authentication for logging in to GDAX or logging into Coinbase. It says Authy and SMS are vulnerable to phone porting attacks. So what this means, if somebody wanted to try to get in and steal my cryptocurrency to get access to take over my account, they could figure out my phone number, figure out who I have my phone service through, and then they would call up and they would say, yeah, my name is, and then they would use my name, and they would say, I'm changing my phone service to a different company. I want to port my phone number out. They would convince the people at that company that they were me and that I was changing my phone service. And then in the middle of the night, maybe my phone number would get ported out to a different company that they then had access and accounts with. And so then the text message, the SMS message for two-factor authentication would go to a device that they had in their possession. And then when they would go to log in or to change passwords or to transfer a balance out, they would be getting the SMS message on that device. And so what Coinbase is saying is, instead of relying on SMS, or instead of relying on the application Authy, which I guess is tied into SMS, we would like you to switch over and use Google Authenticator. Device-based authenticator apps like Google Authenticator mitigate this by being linked to your device and not your phone number. So simply porting your phone out isn't going to affect this. The process that I had to follow to implement this on my account was I had to download Google Authenticator from the app stores onto my device, and then I had to go through the installation of that and then make some account changes. And so I waited until I had the time to concentrate and to work on this. And one of the things I had to do, and I did this after I got the app installed, and I've got some screenshots that are going to come up that show this. But after I had the app installed on my device, I went into my Coinbase account setup, and it had my phone number up here, which was already verified, and I changed it to Google Authentication. Right? I enabled this. And this then let me see like a 2D let me see like a barcode thing on the screen that I used with the Google Authenticator app to set up to pass the secret key onto the Google Authenticator app. Obviously, I'm not going to show that on the screen here, and this is a screenshot, so I couldn't. And I said any amount of digital currency, really for any transaction in my Coinbase account, I'm going to require a two-step verification. So that was the part in the, after I got the Google Authenticator app installed, excuse me, after I got the Google Authenticator app installed, this was the last part that I did inside my Coinbase account. This is something that I did right before that. This is the way that the Google Authenticator looks in the Google Play store. And obviously I said, okay, you know what? I want to install this. It's designed for phones, but so far it seems to work fine on my phones and my tablets. You have to have a Google account. So if you don't already have a Google account, you'll need to create one prior to installing this app. And you use your Google account password. In addition to, there'll be a code that this app will generate. And then from then on, whenever you sign into Google, if you're not on a trusted device, or if you're prompted for two-factor, you will put in your normal Google account and password info, and then you'll have to fire up the app and use the app to get a code. This is just an example code. This is not my code. I wouldn't show it. It says during sign-in, you can tell us not to ask for a code again on that computer. So in other words, it kind of creates a known device. I'm not sure if it's using a cookie or not. You'll still be covered because we'll ask for codes when you or anyone else tries to sign into your account from other computers. So this is something if you have a computer that only you use, like maybe your desktop and your notebook, and you're the only one that logs on it, you might choose to say, "Don't ask me for a code again on that device." If you're using a computer at work, if you maybe are having to log in and use a shared computer, maybe in the hotel of a lobby or something else, then you definitely do not want to use this option for that computer. And then when you're done, it just reminds you update your phone numbers, create other backup options. Also, if you need to turn it off, there's a URL to where you would get help for that. So I installed the app on my Android devices, and then I fired up the app. I had to log into the app using my Google account, and then it says you can add an account based upon one of the following options, and scan a barcode is the option. And then back here on the this is something I was doing in my browser on the Coinbase site. After I enabled Google authentication, then this view your authenticator secret key, that's what I put up on the screen of my computer in the browser. And then I took my phone and I used that last option to scan, and I put it up and I scanned it, and that transferred for Coinbase, that transferred the key onto the device. So it's a little bit complicated, but again, you want to keep things secure. Let's see. Do I have anything else I wanted to talk about? I think for this, I'm pretty much done. And as I said, this is a kind of a raw recorded live material. I'll go back and I'll take out parts, and I'll use the parts that I just recorded, and I'll do voiceovers if I need to, and I'll probably create a nicer, more polished video. But it's been a while since I've published a cryptocurrency trading video to the channel, and I wanted to go ahead and to put something up because I know some of my subscribers that seems to be their interest, and I have put up a couple videos about other things because I have different interests, but I wanted to make sure that there was some sort of related content going up onto the channel so that you didn't think I had moved on from cryptocurrency trading to something else. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. I'll keep posting the videos to my YouTube channel. Don't be surprised if you see me go live, either as I'm creating the videos or for other things that I'm interested in. So thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks to all of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. I just reached 100 subscribers, and I really appreciate people that have subscribed to my channel, and I'm going to continue to read your comments, respond to them. A person said, one of my recent videos, there was a comment that said the music was too loud, and I appreciate that feedback, and that's something I can easily address as I make the videos. So good or bad comments I appreciate. If there's something you'd like me to do a video on, put that in the suggestions, and I'll put that on. I've got a list that I keep of things, of ideas for videos, things that I want to do. And so to get things on the list, I have to know about them, suggest them. So again, thanks again. Thanks for watching, and I will see everyone later.